What up, boys, and welcome back to Excel. Today we're going to be going back through the triple draft sheet that I made a few months ago now, probably. I'll link the video, of course, above me now because it goes through more in depth about this. I'm just going to reference this to start because I think this is going to be my ultimate guide to the triple draft mode. I'm not saying I'm going to do too well in it, but what I am saying is that this isn't going to disadvantage me in any way. If any, this is only going to advantage me, if anything. So let me just go through what this is. If you haven't seen that first video, again, I suggest you check it out. But if you don't want to, then I'll go through it here, and you can sort of learn all of the draft pools and sort of have a predictive nature for what your opponent might have and how you might need to play, etc. Essentially, this first category here is anti-air. So anti-air is your cards like archers, princesses, inferno dragons, anything that hits air. And you may be questioning how I know all these are linked. So essentially, if you look at minions, minions appear in this slot here, and minions will appear somewhere in here, and they all overlap essentially. So there'll be mega minions, you know, there's mega minion here, mega minion here. They overlap in each slot. So this first column here going down is your first pick, so the one on the left hand side. This here is your middle pick. This here is your third pick on the right hand side. And essentially, I played enough games to collect 40 picks of this, and all I played really was 20 different games. I know it says 10 at the top, but I played on 2 accounts, so it's 20 games here. I got 40 picks, meaning this appeared twice in every single battle. So you are guaranteed to have 2 air defense cards in every single battle. So whatever you do, you know that you're going to have air defense, you know your opponent's going to have air defense. And instantly what this tells me is that Lava Hound and Balloon aren't going to be your best friends, because the way you get away with them in normal draft is by trusting that your opponent doesn't have air defense. Well, in this draft, your opponent has 2 air defenses, and they can get a building, and they can get a support which can hit air, and they can get a swarm that can hit air, and they can get a small spell, and they can get a mini tank that can hit air, etc, etc. They can get all of these things that can hit air. So in my opinion, those win conditions that are in the air aren't too great. Now I'm going to do all the greens first because they're easy to explain. These ones appeared in 100% of games, just the once though. So this one says 200% because it appeared twice in each game. This is 100% because it appeared once in each game. This is sort of going to be your main choice. You definitely get one of these choices. Your opponent definitely gets one as well. But this one's going to be your main choice. And it's not like draft where you get to give your opponent a win condition, you're just choosing yours. So there's no way you can really ruin your opponent, but what you can do is use these other pools to benefit your win condition. But I will come back to this category in a little while. Big spell is very interesting. All of the big spells are in here, but the problem, in my opinion, is that Earthquake and Freeze and Rocket are in here. Ones that you don't really want to pick. There are definitely picks where you're going to have Earthquake, Rocket, and Freeze. I believe there was one in here somewhere. Yeah, here, number 8. Freeze, Earthquake, Rocket. I don't know what you meant to do with that. You're just meant to pick the best of the worst. I guess the worst case scenario is it's your first pick and you don't really know what's going to go well with your deck. But if it's last pick, I guess if you have like Graveyard, you can pick a Freeze, or if you know there's been a building pick, then your opponent can... then you can pick Earthquake, so you know your opponent has a building. But yeah, this is really tough. I'm just going to say be careful with your spells. Try and always go safe. I wouldn't, if I have the choice, like, I don't know, here for example, Lightning, Earthquake, Rocket, I'm taking Lightning, because these two along with Freeze are probably like the death spells. They're the ones that you're probably going to struggle if you have to pick them. And I should explain that, not because they're bad cards, but because they're situational cards, right? So like Rocket, you know, you're not really going to get that much value unless your opponent has a Witch or an Executioner or 3 Musketeers or something. Here's a little fun fact. 3 Musketeers aren't even in the draft pool, so yeah, literally, Rocket is pretty much useless. And the final one is Small Spell. Again, appears in 100% of games. You definitely get a Small Spell, definitely get a Big Spell. This one, not too many complaints, except Tornado's in there, which is a bit weird. Seems more like an effect spell to me. Like, this might actually be your worst pick, where you have Snowball, Tornado, and Barb Barrel, but then you just take Tornado and you're fine. But, in my opinion, you don't really want Tornado, because you know Tornado is going to be in place of your small spell. So it's not like normal draft where you can get Tornado and you can get a small spell and you'll be covered on both. If you take Tornado and your opponent has, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a princess, you're pretty much screwed. So yeah, in my opinion, you don't really want to take Tornado. I think arrows are your best option here. I think genuinely arrows might be your best, followed by Log, Zap, Barb Barrel, maybe in that order. Just because arrows are so versatile and they're actually decent now, so in my opinion, I'm trying to take arrows, I'm trying to leave tornado, and yeah. Now I want to talk about these, 5 categories altogether. So you can see they're in different colors, obviously, because their percentage are actually different. We've got a 70, a 70, a 70, a 60, and a 30. And you may be wondering, oh, what does this mean? Well, what this means is that you're pretty much guaranteed to get 3 of these 5. Now, the weighting is a little bit off. I believe these 3 are actually the same weight, but my sample isn't the same, isn't like a big enough size. And I believe this final category down here, this splash category, is actually lower. So you're pretty much going to get 3 of one of these 5 with a lower weighting towards this red one down here. So I'm just going to go through all the categories quick. We have building/DPS, which is sort of a difficult one, but if you do get this, again, it's going to affect your big spell pick and what you're going to want to be picking there. It's also going to affect your win condition pick. So if there's a building or DPS pick in play, you know your opponent has a building or a big DPS, and just for context, that's going to be like a Gob Hut, it's going to be Barbarians, it's going to be a Tesla, an Inferno Tower, a P.E.K.K.A, something like that does amazing DPS, and it's probably going to affect your win condition pick, because if I know one of these is in play, I don't want Giant, because I know my opponent has a building or a big DPS to counter that Giant. I'm more looking at stuff like God Barrels, or, you know, stuff that's cheaper, not really affected by buildings or big DPS units like that. What you can also tell from here is that if you have the pick of P.E.K.K.A, your opponent won't. So if you see P.E.K.K.A in your picks, I know this is a bit complicated now, but you know your opponent won't have a P.E.K.K.A, so maybe it opens up the door to playing Giant. Although they might have a building, but sometimes your Giant can be okay with building, depending on your big spell. So they all sort of interlink, and it's making those inferences on your picks and what you have the option of, and, you know, just choosing the correct deck. This one's a very odd category. It only has 7 cards in it, I think, and I've just called it Support, because Night Witch, Elixir Collector, Bandit, E-Barbs, Cannon Cart, Rage, and Bowler are the cards. I couldn't really find any cohesiveness between them all. They're all sort of just like, oh, that's sort of support. This category's sort of trash, in my opinion. If you get this, the game's probably going to be wacky. I don't even know what to say for it. Basically, you want to be picking one of these 3 cards if you can. Bandit, Elixir Collector, and Night Witch are your best friends. I think Cannon Cart and Bowler are like a tier below, and then Rage and E-Barbs are just bottom tier for this. Yeah, but you can ultimately get cucked just like any other pick. So I didn't make this obvious, but pick 1 will be me, pick 2 my opponent, pick 3 me, pick 4 my opponent. So I had this as a pick, my Night Witch, Elixir Collector, Bandit. My opponent had Rage, Cannon Cart, E-Barbs. That sucks. That sucks for a pick. And it's entirely possible. It's actually happened. So Night Witch, Elixir Collector, and Bandit are probably your best. I'm probably going Bandit as my best one there. Most versatile, I guess. Then we have this Swarm pick, which is weird because it swarms, but they sort of serve different purposes. We've got Tombstone, which isn't in the buildings. It's in Swarm. We've got Skeleton Barrel, which isn't in win conditions. It's in Swarm. We've got stuff like, you know, Skarmy, which isn't in DPS. It's in Swarm. So it's sort of a weird one, but again, if you get this pick first and you can see what you get, you know which spells to pick, because you know if you get like Tombstone, Skeleton Barrel, and Skellies that your opponent won't have those cards because you've already got them in your picks. They might have Goblin Gang guards or Skarmy, in which case you want an arrows, a log, a zap, something like that. This one here, mini tank, there's not really too much you can infer from it. So you know in like 60% of cases that you're going to have a mini tank in your deck. Doesn't really affect the gameplay too much, you just sort of know it's there. And then the final pick is Splash. But this one also should have the triple question mark, because it's sort of like, what? Look at the splash cards in here, right? Dark Prince, Mega Knight, Fire Spirits, Ghost, Ice Spirit, and Bomber. What? I think they're the only ones in there as well. That's pretty much insane. Again, in here, I'm maybe trying to get Ghost, Ice Spirit, or Dark Prince. I'm not really trying to get Mega Knight's a bit heavy, Bomber's trash, and Fire Spirits aren't too good. So yeah, probably Ice Spirit's your best friend there, but Ghost and Dark Prince are going to be your support. And just to finish the segment off, I'm just going to scroll over the tiniest bit. Clone, Giant Skeleton, Heal, Mirror, Three Musketeers, and Battle Healer, I do not believe are in the draft pool. Battle Healer might be, I haven't played yet, I'm going to play in this video, but Battle Healer, I haven't played yet. I will assume it's not in there, because it only came out a few days ago, and I don't suppose they've updated the draft pool since then. So I'm just going to assume that it's not in there and not add it to any categories. I'm also going to assume that these categories are actually correct and they haven't changed them, because I did this when the mode first came out and that's when I tested it all. They could have changed it, but I don't suppose they have, because it'd been a weird thing to do. So yeah, there's my analysis, I guess. Now that you know all of the categories, you can better pick your win condition. You know your opponent's going to have a small spell. God Barrel's probably not too big. Raw Hog's okay. Expo is sort of rough because you're probably not going to get a good Expo deck. Mortar is the same deal as Expo. Graveyard is okay, but you don't know if you're going to get a mini tank, so maybe not take that. Giant Gob, again, depends on this pick. Lava Hound, I'm not going to take because it's air. Hog Rider sort of depends on this pick, but it's probably going to be pretty consistent. Giant depends on this pick here. Ram Rider is actually probably going to be one of the best in the game, just because if you don't have this pick, it's going to be really difficult to stop. There's not too many cards that do it that consistently. Battle Ram's going to be okay. Is that all of them? Nah, Wall Breakers. Wall Breakers are going to be good because Wall Breakers are just good. So yeah, that's all for the draft pools. I'm going to get into some gameplay now in this video and try and use what I've just told you to my advantage. Maybe I won't. Alright, so welcome to the gameplay portion of this video. As usual, I took far too long talking about drafts. That was 15 minutes I took there. I thought it was going to be maybe 5. Let's do this really quickly. I've sort of made it a habit to collect our rewards in these episodes now, so there's our reward, and let's get into this challenge. We're only going to play one game because, again, I spent way too long on that segment, which is awful. Okay, here's my anti-air. Reliable anti-air. I know he's going to have a big spell, but he might not pick a big spell that kills flying machines. So I'm going to take you here. This, they've actually updated this. Elixir Golem was in it before, but this is going to be a win condition. They've moved Mega Knight. Oh no, they've changed all my pools. Oh no, I'm going to take the Elixir Golem because it's overpowered. This is awful. I know I won't have P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A.'s the only one that's going to fit, but I was going to be way too expensive. Big spell. Okay, he's been cucked there with his big spells, although he does have poison, which sucks. I should have been paying attention to his cards. I haven't been. Let's take the Fireball here. He's gotten Bandit. He's going to take the Bandit, in which case I have to take Elite Barbs, because the rest is going to be useless. He's got Battle Healer. Okay, Battle Healer is in it. It's under mini tanks. Here's an update to my pool, which I did live. This is actually a very good pick here. I think I'm going to take arrows because I said they're going to be the best. They're the most versatile. And here I can go with more Fireball bait if he did pick the poison, which I know he did. This is sort of sucky. I think I've got Prince, Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Elite Barbs, which is awful. Alright, but at least I can counter stuff like this. Maybe not this so well, but I can counter the rest. Alright, this isn't going amazingly, but it's not the worst. And then I'll go with Elixir Golem here because he went in hard. Alright, I got Fireball Arrows. I can't afford either. Let's hope he didn't get a big Swarmy boy. There's Bats. Those are sort of Swarmy, but they're not going to stop me. Mini P.E.K.K.A. on the tower? Yeah, nice. Prince kill that? Oh, that's annoying. We get the tower anyway. I'm not going to overcommit too hard here. I can just play Magic Archer to clear this up. Obviously, it does depend on what he does to follow. Nothing, nothing, nothing. I'm going to play Magic Archer anyway, because I have Elixir. Okay, interesting. You're meant to counter push on that, buddy. Right? Predictive poison? Maybe? Not too sure what was going on there, but something was certainly going on. So, I guess what I should be saying now is they have updated the draft pools. They've moved Mega Knight into win conditions, which I don't agree with. I wouldn't be taking Mega Knight. You're not going to have reliable damage on the tower. And they've put Elixir Golem into win conditions as well. What's the other one they changed? They changed something else that I said. I think the main thing they've changed is their win conditions, which is interesting, because Elixir Golem now counts, and as I said, Mega Knight also counts, and I wouldn't be taking Mega Knight. Oh, I've already said those points. Okay, arrows again coming in clutch, because I knew I'd have a swarm, and of course arrows are actually pretty decent now, so clears out that. Alright, this game's gone pretty easy. I'll take this win. So hopefully you can see from that my pools are largely accurate. Again, we've had pretty much the picks that I had called, except they'd moved Mega Knight and they'd added in Elixir Golem. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one. And I'm pretty proud of winning this game so convincingly because of my draft expertise and knowledge. I'm just making this up. I have no place to be calling myself an expert at absolutely anything, except Elixir Golem. I truly am the Elixir Golem expert, the Elixir Golem master. The Elixir Golem just professional player. Look at me go. I don't lose with Elixir Golem. Another 3 crown. If you didn't see yesterday's video, then again, top corner, as you know. Ruining stuff with Elixir Golem. It's how I do. Alright, so there is my common token. I'm going to leave this challenge now, and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get this video uploaded, of course. I'm going to see if any of you want me to play more of the 20 win challenge. I'm not getting 20 wins, it's just not happening, but we can see how far I can go, I guess. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Any comments about the 20 win challenge, do leave them below. I'll try my hardest to strategize, advise, one of those words. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and peace.